A cold wind rattled the windows of the old building as Tommy led his friends down the dim, teal-light hallway. They stopped outside apartment 31, where Miss Dawson used to live. The neighbor everybody said was almost too cheerful. But no one had seen her in weeks. The flickering light above her door cast long, anxious shadows, and the hallway felt tighter than usual, like the walls were leaning in. Everyone whispered about the strange cries people heard late at night and the heavy knocks on the walls, but nobody dared go near her door after sunset. Even now, you could almost hear a muffled sob, thick and distant, coming from behind the cold wooden door. Tommy swallowed. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Tommy stared at the door as a low, rhythmic thump echoed from inside, making the group jump. His best friend Luis tried to laugh it off, but his voice trembled. They'd all heard stories about Miss Dawson's troubles, how she was last seen wandering and crying in the courtyard, and how nobody saw her leave. Some neighbors moved out after the night her wails grew loud and strange, and furniture was heard scraping from inside her empty apartment. The group argued, half wanting to run, half terrified of what might happen if they just ignored the sounds. The hallway lights flickered again, and Tommy realized the crying seemed much closer, like someone was right behind the door, waiting. As Tommy gathered his nerve to knock, the door to 311 slowly creaked open by itself. A frigid gust poured out, snuffing the hallway lamp and leaving them half in darkness. From the pitch-black doorway, the unmistakable sound of soft weeping poured into the hall, mixed with a low, anguished moan that didn't sound fully human. An icy, invisible weight pressed against the boys' chests as shadows danced across the threshold. For a split second, Tommy could see a shape, twisted and forlorn, hovering just beyond the doorway, its face blurting out grief and rage. Suddenly, a violent bang thundered from within the apartment, sending the group scrambling back in terror as the door slammed shut on its own with unnatural force. The boys sprinted back down the hallway, barely looking back. The building seemed to swallow the sound of their footsteps, and the faint sobbing faded as the lights slowly flickered back on. After that night, none of them returned to the third floor. Miss Dawson's apartment stayed empty, but strange sounds, soft knocks and occasional crying drifted through the halls on sleepless nights. Eventually, the stories faded into whispered warnings for newcomers. But Tommy swears sometimes, if you get too close to 311 after dark, you can still feel the sorrow soaking through the walls and hear her asking, in that mournful, empty voice, why no one helped.